Hello lovers, how is everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing fabulous because today I am very excited, you guys. I am very excited as this is going to be my very first video talking about Sex and the City, and specifically about And Just Like That. The purpose of this video is to defend And Just Like That. I love that show so much. I never miss an episode. Every time a new episode premieres, it's like a huge event for me, you know. That's like the most exciting part of my week. But before I do that, I think I need to give an introduction of why I believe I may have the right to talk about these characters, because I swear I have been there since way back. And as a little introduction, I thought I will tell you a little story. I hope you enjoy it. Once upon a time, a working, glamorous St. Louis woman had to stay home resting due to her pregnancy state. With her free time, she turned on TV and watched the ending of a show she had never ever heard about before. A show with Sarah Jessica Parker, Kim Cattrall, Kristen Davis, and Cynthia Nixon as the stars. She watched that show every time it was on TV. Since that day, she never ever missed it again. After the baby was born, the days turned busy. Doing home labor, making the baby board, clean his poop, change his diapers, do the laundry, the dishes. The best part of the day was the night. When the baby was sleeping, the mom goes to the living room with a hot coffee, sweet bread, and turns on the TV, all done to finally watch Sex and the City. I think by this point you get the idea that the lady in that story is my mom, so I have been watching Sex and the City literally since before I was born. My mom is still like the biggest fan, you know. She went to the theater when the first movie dropped, and also when the second movie was released. By then I do remember I wasn't invited for some reason. Like, what was wrong with a 6-year-old going to the cinema to watch a Sex and the City movie, you know? I had to stay home that day, but she did went to the premiere of both movies. She does watch And Just Like That with me every time a new episode is released. So I wasn't exactly a thinking being when I first watched the series, so I don't remember watching that show for the first time. Do you know how in some houses they have like a holy Bible in like the living rooms, or I don't know, but here in Mexico that's kind of common, you know. They have like a holy Bible in the living room, in the dining room. Well, in my house we have the 6 seasons from Sex and the City in these cardboard boxes. My mom got them at Liverpool like a long time ago. Liverpool is a department store that we have right here. And you guys, I have memories with these DVDs that I don't remember not having these DVDs in my house. After school, I always got home to watch Sex and the City. There was a channel that was called TBS that always did retransmissions after the show ended. So at the time that we eat, that was what was playing on TV. And I think my mom allowed me watching it in that moment because it was family time. So the channel removed the sex scenes, because I do remember one night when I was a kid and I got to my mom's room and I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, I'm just watching Sex and the City on the TV, and it was like around 11 p.m. in the night, and I was like, oh, can I watch it with you? And she was like, no, you can't, because at night they didn't remove the sex and, you know, the inappropriate stuff from the show, but after school they did, and that's when I watch it normally. I mean, that's what I remember the most after elementary school. And there was a year where for family personal reasons we couldn't afford cable, so we didn't watch any TV, but the only thing we had were these DVDs and the DVD player. So there was like 2 years where we didn't watch anything in TV because we couldn't afford that other than Sex and the City, because thankfully we had these DVDs. My favorite movie of all times, of course, has to be the first Sex and the City movie. And I do have a lot of favorite movies, but this one is the favorite of the favorites. And the second movie, on the other hand, I mean, I do really like it, but like, nothing really happens with Charlotte and with Samantha. And I mean, I guess Miranda gets a new job and Carrie gets the ring. But like nothing really happens. But that doesn't mean I don't like it, you guys. I really still like it. I really still do like it. And there are a couple of scenes that are hidden jewels in this movie. Like I really enjoy it. To me, the second movie, it's like when you go to a cafe with your best friends, but don't really have nothing new to talk about. But it was still good seeing them because they are your best friends. You know, this is how this is the movie equivalent to that. Does that make sense? Every time there's a new and just like that episode, I like to watch it twice. One, the day it premieres in Spanish with my mom, you know, was a tradition. And the other one, the following morning on English, like just for me, you know, to have like the original version. And I mentioned that because I want to explain how I feel about that show, you know? For instance, one time, one of my friends who just watched Sex and the City for the very first time and the movies and just like that, she asked me, what do you think of Big's death? And my first thought was, what a disrespectful question. How am I supposed to feel for someone's death? That's just sad. But I answered, I liked how the show did that, you know, with Carrie moving on. That's how real life works as well, you know. You don't move on because you're ready to. I'm quoting her. You don't move on because you're ready to. You move on because you have to. With that being said, I do know there's like a big distance between the real world and the fantasy world, the Sex and the City world. When talking about and just like that, the first thing that needs to be addressed, the big elephant on the room, has to be Samantha's absence. And I will not talk about Sarah and Kim. I will never ever do that for respect to both of them. But I didn't like Carrie's comment in the very first episode. It's one of the very first things she said, that she believes Samantha only saw her as her ATM. That sounds out of character for both of them, I believe. And I think that's the only moment from and just like that there has been an out of character moment, you know, because Samantha and Carrie love each other so incredibly much, and I'm sure that was addressed on the writers' room. That was changed by the end of the first season, you know, and you know, also through the text messages we see that they are still friends. By the end of the first season, they go together. They have this little cute meeting at England. And you know, in second season we have that lovely cameo, and now in third season they are still texting. Now, if you're here to hear me say bad things about them just like that, you can close the video right now, because that's pretty much everything negative I have to say. Well, that, and I wish Naya have had a different ending, a good ending, you know, like an emotive goodbye scene. Since we're on the topic of Samantha, I would like to talk about a comment that has been very common on social media, especially on TikTok and on Instagram, that they had to introduce 3 new characters to fill Samantha's space. I think someone just wrote that and people liked how that sounded, so they started copying and pasting that comment everywhere. Like, I don't see it that way. I believe that the reason for these 3 new characters is that, well, besides from diversity, which was very, very important, they have now 40 to 15 minutes per episode. That's like double the time from the original Sex and the City that was like 20 to 30 minutes per episode. And that gives them space to create double the stories. But I do wonder wonder, why do people dislike them? If you don't like LTW, Naya and Sima, please let me know in the comments why. I mean, especially if it's like a different reason other than because they're not Samantha. You know, I think there should be more conversation. I really love all three of them. In fact, I will not talk a lot about them in this video because I have written 3 separate videos for each of them because I think they deserve their own spotlight. The reason why I really like the introduction of these 3 characters is it's because we believe that friendships made in childhood of like long term friendships are very important, which they are, but we rarely see recognitions to friendships made after a certain age, after a certain moment, and those friendships are just as important. You know, someone who barely knows you or who is just starting to know you decides to support you and show you love, even if they're just getting to know you. That's very important and very valuable. I really like that from Just Like That because that's not something very common on media, in my opinion. And even if it is, it's important that we see things like that. I'm very happy that we are seeing that in Just Like That. I don't like Che. I really don't like Che. Miranda deserves so much better than Che. Does that make them a bad character? No, I don't think they're a bad character. I mean, yes, they are very selfish and not a nice person when we see them as Miranda's couple. But Che, as Carrie's friend, I really do like them. I like the friendship they had, Carrie and Che. And it's also thanks to them that we got through, so thank you for that, Che Diaz. Does that justify how they treat Miranda? Absolutely not. But isn't that what makes the character more realistic? Like, I have known persons like them in real life, you know, that you give them love and support and are there for them and hear them and listen to them, to their problems or their troubles, and you know, and do things to help them, and all you get back is bad attitudes and they mistreat you. Miranda said, I don't deserve this, and that's something very realistic. Miranda had to go through that to be in this new joyful place that she is right now. I don't like Che as a person, but I think it's a good character. That's how antagonists look in real life. They're not these cartoon villains. Che's hypocrisy, it's what makes them realistic and not a bad character. Like, I don't think it was intended this way, but I think it turned out pretty good. When Just Like That was announced way back in the pandemic, I thought, I just want to see these characters, these girls that I have grown up with, just living their lives with no drama, all chill, you know. And it definitely wasn't what I was expecting, but I am happier with what we are getting. When people say that they turned them into soulless parodies of themselves, you know, that's a very common comment on TikTok and stuff. I have to disagree, you know, I disagree. It's just that they will not be having the same problems and dramas that they have in Sex and the City. But like I said at the beginning of this video, to me, I'm Just Like That, it's like keeping up with them, keeping up with their lives, and to see them live what we saw them building in Sex and the City. It's very inspirational. I love their friendship now, you know, how close they have become, and everything they've been through, and they're still together. I don't know, guys, I really love them. The new friends they've made, and how much they have changed. I really like seeing that change too. Everything I said about this, and Just Like That in Sex and the City, you know, and stuff, in this video are all my opinions, so please let me know what are your opinions. And if you can please elaborate and discuss, create discussions and in conversations, of course, always being respectful, because I don't want to see the same comments that I see always on TikTok and Instagram. You know, oh, I don't like it because it's the time hour. I don't like it because, you know, I want to see your own points of views, your own ideas, why you don't like them, or if you do like it, why do you like it? Please feel free to talk about it. No fear that no one's gonna judge you, because I do love it just like that in Sex and City. And if you do too, this is a safe space for you to share that. And if you don't, it's also a safe space for you to share that. You know, all different kinds of opinions I would love to read in the comments, so please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Love you. Bye.